Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what am I calling this? Yeah, Called It. This show is called Called It. Basically, it's a post-fight show, at least like the day after when I've had a chance to rewatch some of the fights anyway. Great card, UFC 195 last night in Las Vegas, headlined by Carlos Condit against Robbie Lawler for the title, of course. And honestly, from top to bottom, from top to bottom, it was just a really good card. A couple iffy decisions. And then the very last one, very disputed by a lot of people, social media, even professionals are just weirded out by it. And it was kind of you had to think about it quite a bit and probably rewatch the fight a couple times to make up your mind on whether Carlos Condit won or Robbie Lawler won, right? Again, great fight, super close. One of those, could have gone either way type of things, but it was, there's a couple stats that jump out at you as, what were the judges looking at, right? So let's start off with the very start of the night. Sheldon Westcott gets a TKO win over Edgar Garcia. This is a bad stoppage in terms of being super late. The ref was Chris Tognoni. And if you guys saw it, Westcott got Edgar Garcia to the ground and then took his back, flattened him, and just punched him to hell. And the ref just watched it happen. And it was weird. Pretty much everybody, Joe Rogan, even when Mike Goldberg started saying, yeah, you should probably stop the fight, you got something there. You probably stopped the fight. But Edgar Garcia took a ton of damage and ended up losing by TKO in the first round. I'm not going to say big win for Sheldon Westcott, but any wins in the UFC is a pretty big win. So he gets that win there. The next fight was a bad decision. Terrible. Michinori Tanaka gets the split decision win over Joe Soto. Now, here's why it's bad. There were takedowns in this fight. 3 for Tanaka, 1 for Joe Soto. But the significant strikes and the total strikes are ridiculous. 98 strikes landed for Joe Soto out of 138, and Tanaka landed 68 of 202, right? And then 71 significant strikes for Soto out of 111, 57 out of 190 for Tanaka. Now, here's where the stats are different. 1 takedown for Soto, 3 for Tanaka, scored, right? So, and of course, they have 4 submission attempts for Soto, none for Tanaka. It's I didn't see this one as being close either. I thought Soto won this fight. But in the third round, Soto even got even more aggressive and took the fight to Tanaka, and they still somehow gave it to Michinori Tanaka. And it was a bad decision. And it's bad for Joe Soto. That's 3 losses in the UFC now. So I think it's pretty serious 3 losses in the UFC for this guy. Of course, his first loss was pretty big against TJ Dillashaw for the title on a day notice, if that much. But now he's got 3 in a row losses, 0-3 in the UFC. I think he'll get one more shot at this thing and see if he can come back and make things happen. But it's hard to think that Joe Soto didn't lose that fight. I just don't see it that way. A couple of comments here on YouTube. By the way, you can hit me up here on the comment section of YouTube. You can hit me up on Twitter at ELAW31. It's ELAW31, of course, it's down here. At Crosses MMA as well. Or YouTube comment section, of course. And shout out to Jesse tuning in here. And my homie Darkest Fangs with the F Nick Saban comment. I'll leave that one for breaking the law with Eddie Law in a couple hours. So, football news. This show gets it all. Anytime I do any of these shows, it gets it all. So, all right, moving on. Next fight here: Dustin Poirier against Joe Duffy. Now, people were asking why this fight was on Fight Pass because the big fight should have been on the pay-per-view. Yeah, but it was also the headline, and this was explained by Don Manos. So, at Don, the MMA guy, hit him up with your disagreements or agreements if you'd like to. But Don Manos pointed out that the UFC had this as a main event on Fight Pass, right? And it got canceled from Fight Pass completely. So to make people pay the pay-per-view money for that fight when it was on Fight Pass anyway, it's kind of rough. So they put it as the main prelim. So that kind of makes sense, right? And a lot of people are like, UFC doesn't care. They don't, but they care about the Ireland thing, right? So people in Ireland, that was a main event there. So they were hoping to see it. So now they got to see it on Fight Pass. But Dustin Poirier just dominates Joe Duffy from start to finish. Now Duffy did get hurt Poirier a little bit in the first round, but after that, takedowns from Poirier, ground and pound from Poirier. It was just Poirier took over, and that was it. And he got that win. He looks really good, really healthy. He looks like he belongs at 155, and so hopefully he stays there and makes a run, and decides to. I think I think I remember it was Don or somebody else said that they felt that this was Poirier's year, and it might be. He looked really good. So who to give him next? I don't know for sure. Someone ranked higher than him for sure. All right, next fight: Drew Dober against Scott Holtzman. A decision win there for Mr. Dober. Dober taking Holtzman down, and no one thought that was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. Dober's a Muay Thai guy, and he scored a few takedowns on Holtzman, who is the grappler of the two. In fact, he got 4 takedowns to Holtzman's 1. If I remember correctly, it was 1. So overall, the strikes were pretty even. So, pretty easy, honestly, pretty easy decision for Dober. All right, after that, the return of Justine Kish. Remember, Justine Kish was supposed to be on that tough 20? I want to say 20? The strawweight season. Was supposed to be on that show. Suffered a knee injury. Couldn't make it to the show. Comes back tonight or last night. Looked okay. I'm not gonna say she looked great because the rust was there and everything. And Nina Ansaroff put up a pretty good fight. In fact, she outstruck Kish. I think 107-91 is what it says on here. Yeah, 107-91. But 3 takedowns for Kish to Nina's 1. Definitely pushed the judges her way. So Justine Kish gets a win over here in her return or in her debut in the octagon. All right, after that we got Cal Noke against Alex Morano. Morano took this fight in like a week notice. It was like it was what was it? Oh, Kelvin Gastelum got hurt. That's right. Kelvin Gastelum got injured. No word yet on what the injury was. But certainly, enough to take him out. Of course, a lot of people joking around, oh, he couldn't make weight. Too many burritos, whatever he was going to say. Literally, someone said that to me. That was weird. But it was weird to see Kelvin pull out like that and not hear what the injury was. Anyway, Alex Morano, if you guys know him, I think Legacy FC champion, comes in on short notice and wins a split decision on Mr. Cal Noke. And Noke looked really good, I think, to begin with. And Morano, every strike that Morano threw was thrown to break something. So that was a wild fight. Split decision, close fight. Morano takes that one. After that, Michael McDonald returns, gets a rear naked choke win in the second round over Masanori Kanehara. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of McDonald striking. But we saw enough, and he said after the fight that his hands looked, felt fine. If you guys remember, McDonald has been out due to injury, and he's had multiple surgeries on his hands and his wrists. His hands are going to be jacked for the rest of his life, but still able to come back to fight. All right, first fight on the main card. What was kind of a surprise to me that it went down the way it did. Abel Trujillo gets a submission win, guillotine choke on Mr. Tony Sims. Tony, don't call me 2.0 Sims as I'm calling him now. Jesse making fun of my pronunciation. I used to say Cal Noki, but it's Cal Noke. So I learned my lesson, dude. Chill. Anyway, Abel Trujillo gets the submission win, guillotine win on Tony Sims. Now, I thought for sure it was going to be a rock'em sock'em robot type of thing. Abel Trujillo was going to land a few bombs. Tony Sims was going to pick him apart with the striking, and it was just going to be a decision win or something, somehow. No, Abel Trujillo took control. Gets a guillotine choke win. He looked good. He looked really good. Tony Sims looked all right. It was just, it was Abel Trujillo's day. After that, we get Brian Ortega taking on Diego Brandao. Gets a triangle choke. Submission on Diego. Ortega, you can't sleep on, man. That dude is legit, and his ground game is even more legit. And Diego Brandao was talking shit about how he's going to cancel out Ortega's submission game, and he couldn't stop him. Especially not on that one. He got caught, and it was game over for him. So Diego Brandao gets his 2-fight win streak, broken. Ortega remains undefeated. And where does Diego go from here? I don't know. He just fought in September, so that's like what 3 months ago or so. I think he's gonna take a little bit of a break when we come back in the summer and see who they give him. As far as Ortega goes, I mean that's 3 fights. Okay, well 2 wins in a row. That first fight in the UFC against Mike De La Torre was overturned. I forgot exactly why. I want to say someone probably tested positive or something, but they got overturned. Anyway, Ortega on the way up, obviously at 145 pounds at a Black House in California. Jesse saying he believes it's a rib injury on Mr. Kelvin Gastelum. Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. But I wonder why they didn't release it. All right. Moving on here. Next fight. was Albert Tumanov against Lawrence Larkin, split decision win for Tumanov. It was a good fight. There's not much you can say about that one. It was just a really good fight. It was a fun fight. I was weirded out. People were calling it boring because no one was like getting knocked the hell out. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. So that was weird. All right, co-main event, Stipe Miocic cements his well, not maybe not. Okay, well, not cements. We'll talk about it in a second. But definitely makes his case for a title shot when he knocked out Andrei Arlovski. Just beautiful combination. I heard him and then face him off. And then after the fight stomps over and says, are we on the same page? That Dana White starts screaming at him and Fertitta and just screaming at him, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? And in the post-fight press conference, you know, Stipe is right there and Dana White sort of said, Stipe's got the title. Basically kind of sort of say Stipe got the title shot without saying Stipe's got the next fight and title shot, right? So now here's where it gets a little weird. And I was on Twitter the whole time, just talking to people. And there's a feeling out there that's like, well, Stipe deserves it. Stipe should get the title shot. And there's a lot of people that say Overeem should get the title shot, right? Now let's look at both fighters here. Stipe has a 2-fight win streak. Hunt and Arlovski, obviously, 2 finishes, TKOs. The Hunt one, not so exciting, but I don't think it was too much Stipe's fault as much as it was Mark Hunt not being able to get up off his back. But 2 fights over pretty solid guys, and he just beat the number 2 guy in the world. As far as Overeem goes, you guys got to think about this first. It's he's got that contract situation. He's a free agent. Okay, he's going to be taking a lot of offers from over what do you call it? Overseas. Fuck, I'm dumb. Overseas. One championship I'll be calling for sure. Bellator will be calling. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryzen starts calling. He's a big guy. He's a big name in Japan, so for sure they look at him. Overeem's got 3 wins in a row right now. Stephen Struve, Roy Nelson, and JDS. Okay. So without the contract thing to talk about right now, okay, Overeem has that win over the JDS. JDS is the winner of Stipe. MMA Matt says Overeem should get the title shot. But man, Stipe's gotten screwed a few times. This is maybe just me, okay? But Stipe was on a freaking a tear, man. He's beat Roy Nelson, Gabriel Gonzaga, Fabio Maldonado. He lost to JDS in a close decision. That I thought Stipe won that fight, but whatever. So had it not been for JDS getting that decision, he'd be on a 6-fight win streak, and nobody would be saying at all that Stipe doesn't deserve a title shot. But I think he does. Now you gotta keep in mind, Alistair Overeem, the UFC gave him a big contract coming in, right? And so now, 35 years old, he's going to want another big contract. There's just no way around it. He's going to want that. And he will be requesting that title shot to be put in his contract, for sure. Gilbert Melendez did it. If you guys remember, Gilbert Melendez accepted that contract offer from Bellator, and UFC decided to match. But he basically had them put the title shot in the contract. Overeem's already going to do that. So if Overeem returns, I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to get Overeem, take the winner of Cain Velasquez against Verdum, leaving Stipe out in the cold again, and he'll probably lose his mind a little bit. In the post-fight conference, he seems to think that he's got the title shot at this point. Dana White kind of said it, but we know the UFC, hey, Miocic has got the next shot. She's got it. She's up next. A couple weeks later, Holly Holmes got it. Miociac's out, and that's the thing everyone has to understand. The UFC is not a, let's do what's right type of business. It's a business. It's about money. So which one's going to get, which fight will take more, will pay more or get more people to tune in? Overeem against the winner of Verdum Velasquez. Mind you, the heavyweight division is not the most exciting these days, let's be honest. So they've had some crazy rounds, of course. Travis Brown Arlovski comes to mind, but Arlovski Frank Mir comes to mind. So it's really weird. And then after Stipe's win, by the way, it really weirded me out on Twitter. What's her name? Juliana Pena tweets out and deleted it like a second later. It was like no time. She goes, to Stipe Miocic, basically saying like, oh, maybe you should stop ducking Ben Rothwell. And I'm sitting here going, no one gives a fuck about Ben Rothwell. But he's not ducking him at all. There's no way. There's no one's ducking anybody. Stipe's trying to get what is rightfully his. And unless Ben Rothwell goes on some ridiculous tear, let's find out exactly what Ben Rothwell's doing. But unless he goes to some crazy tear of exciting finishes and shit. There's no way. It's not gonna happen. Jesse asked MMA math. You know MMA math. People do that where it's like, well, so and so beat so and so, so that means they would beat so and so. It's kind of it's stupid. MMA math is the dumbest thing ever. But some journalists use it on their on their commentaries and their fucking articles and shit. All right, so Ben Rothwell has a 3-fight win streak right now. Brandon Vera, Alistair Overeem, MMA math, and Matt Mitrione. He's scheduled to take on Josh Barnett on the 30th in New Jersey. So, it's Ben Rothwell. So Julian Penny tweets that out, deletes it immediately, and my first thought was, hey, how about focusing on not being in jail? I'm pretty sure you got a court date coming up, so chill the fuck out and stop tweeting people. That's what it is. What do I think is eventually going to happen for Stipe? I don't think he's going to get a title shot. I think Overeem's going to sign that contract. He's going to get that title stipulation put in it, and unfortunately, he's going to get screwed again. No, Jesse, I'm not. Stupid. Sorry, like Frankie Edgar. You know what I mean? No, by the way, there was a rumor going around that the McGregor RDA fight was going to get made, and Frankie was going to get screwed again. No, just no. That thing came from somebody from like a second, third hand fucking knowledge. And you know what? I wonder, what was it? A couple of days ago, they had the day of the weigh-ins. Somebody started putting out rumors of Condit having a concussion. No, by the way, it was funny, and I laughed about it because I thought it was stupid. But they said, yeah, my source has a source. Like, really, dude? Really? Was it a Magic 8 Ball? Is that what you said that dude's source was? Come on. So anyway, this brings us to our main event. Actually, I'll probably check Twitter. All right, on the Twitter machine here. Oh, God damn it. I said Twitter machine. Sorry. And now Jesse's fucking with me. All right. Anyway. I wonder if I should share that. Okay. Possibility RDA is going to be out for a minute. So who knows if that fight's going to get made. All right. Mike Jarvis on Twitter saying, overall, this was an awesome card. Jeremiah says Stipe should get the shot. I think he beat Dos Santos. I think too. Stipe versus Overeem would be a great fight. Yeah, but how many fights does Stipe have to get to get a title shot? You know what I mean? Like, I think he deserves it now. Mike Jarvis on Twitter, Stipe should get the next title shot. Agreed, 100%. And then Jeremiah kind of agreed with me here. Good point about the Overeem contract. Dana will give it to him. Exactly. Overeem, people, casual fans are fickle. They're shallow. They see giant jacked up dude that just knocked the hell out of JDS. They're not going to see, Cleveland boy knocking out Arlovsky. They don't care. They really don't. I'll give you an example and I said this on Twitter yesterday and on the Periscope I did on the drive on my way home. That the bar I go to, fuck you, Jesse. Fuck you. I'm gonna lose my shit on you right now, man. Chill. Anyway, the bar I go to, it got packed for Ronda Rousey fights. Got packed for Conor McGregor fights. Half the place was full for Condit, Lawler, Arlovsky, Stipe. So casual fans know names, but they're fickle. They know, who puts themselves out there. And Overeem, as much as he's not really a huge talker either, but giant black dude that whoops ass and looks like he could kill everybody will get people to watch. So especially because if you get Overeem going for a title shot, the UFC is going to promote the fuck out of it. Please believe the UFC is part of that fickle ass machine, that shallow ass machine. So it's definitely a part of it. Jesse saying Stipe is a loser. He couldn't beat JDS. He beat JDS in that fight, dude. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one, big time. Oh, okay, yeah. He says GK. He needs to work on being a full-time fighter. Yeah, as we all know, the firefighter job takes time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of firefighters do like 3 days on, 4 days off, but those 3 days are like 24-hour shifts. So he might love it, but maybe he should consider going full-time. And full-time fighting, and I don't know what his contract situation is like. He says he likes doing the firefighter job, and if he does like it, he can still fight, like that. It's great. But I think fighting is gonna have to need his attention. Believe me, if he fights for a title and somehow wins it, he's gonna have to do something. It's gonna have to be full-time because the amount of work that a champion needs to put into promoting and the UFC bringing everybody. UFC, requiring them to do media left and right and appearances and all that stuff, it's going to take him away from firefighting for sure. That's what's going to happen. So he's going to have to show that he's willing to do that. Anyway, moving on here to the main event, Robbie Lawler against Carlos Condit. Robbie Lawler pulls off the split decision win. This is where it got really crazy. The word robbery comes to mind to a lot of people on Twitter and everything. I watched the fight last night live. Obviously, everyone during fights, everyone's emotional. For certain people, there's drinks flying and all that shit. So, watching it at the bar was it was hard to analyze what you're watching, right? So last night, I legit thought Carlos Condit whooped on Robbie Lawler. Not whooped him. Nah, whooped him's the wrong word, but definitely outstruck him. Put the volume on him. And I thought he won that fight last night for sure. I thought he did. I think he took 1, 3, and 4, right? And Lawler took 2 and 5. Rewatched it this morning, obviously quietly and all that stuff, and I muted it because look, everyone gets all crazy about Joe Rogan's commentary. You're like, oh, Joe Rogan's blowing so and so dude, and it's gonna, first of all, the judges don't hear his commentary, so it's not like they're messing with the decision. And they're calling it the Joe Rogan effect. No, it's not. So if the only people that Joe Rogan might sway with his commentary are the casual fans that don't really understand what they're watching, right? And that's it. If you have been watching fights for a minute, you know what you're watching. You understand what's going on. And those, sometimes you'll disagree with what Rogan's saying, and sometimes you'll agree. That's just what it is. If you don't like what Rogan's saying, just mute the damn TV and stop bitching about it on Twitter all day. That's it. All right. But after rewatching it this morning, and I rewatched the third round 3 times. Here's my thoughts on the whole fight. Condit landed way more strikes. In fact, the official number that I found on the UFC site, 198 landed strikes for out of 504. Okay, out of 198, 196 were significant. They counted significant. For Robbie Lawler, he landed 78 of 177. All 78 were significant. Okay, and then there was 1 knockdown for each guy. Obviously, the first knockdown was for Condit. First round, won him the first round. And then the second, the other knockdown, I think, was in the second round for Robbie. He took that round. So the way I see it, for sure, Condit had 1 and 4, and for sure, Robbie had 2 and 5. 3 was where the fight was won, right? Condit landed a lot of punches in that round, plenty of punches. It was enough to make a lot of people think he won that round. Robbie Lawler broke something every time he hit him. It was aggressiveness, and the judges are watching this fight. Not a lot of them know what they're watching. And, this isn't Olympic boxing where it's point fighting and everything, aggressiveness, I believe, is part of the category, the criteria for, for judging a fight. So it's, I don't know. I had the third round for Condit barely. And I mean, barely, because of how much Robbie's punches, smacked around Condit. Like I said, Condit landed a lot of shots, but he kind of the way Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz go like 50%, 60% on punches, just to kind of make you feel and make you get sore and all that. And then at the near the end of the fight, if they have to, or they smell a finish, they go 100% trying to knock you out. Carlos kind of did that this entire fight, and he has the cardio to do that and everything. But I'm not sure anybody has the cardio to throw 100% punches the entire time. Robbie Lawler picked his spots his entire fight. And so his thought was, let's hurt him every time I hit him, right? And his cardio allowed for that, right? All 78 were significant. All 78 punches, please believe, Carlos Condit felt, and it hurt like a bitch. And so, I could see why Robbie Lawler won this fight on split. But I thought for sure Carlos Condit had pulled it off, barely. I thought barely he should have pulled it off. I thought he should have gotten that win, and the belt. But as we all know, first of all, you don't want to leave it to the judges, right? And I said before, I said in the preview show, and I've said it since the fight was announced, Carlos Condit is going to have to finish Robbie Lawler to win this fight, because everyone thought this fight was going to go 5 rounds, and it definitely went 5 rounds. And because both guys are tough as hell, both have chins of steel. And they're super aggressive and everything when they need to be. Robbie was aggressive this entire fight, basically. In fact, in the first round, he took the center of the octagon, never lost it. Second round, Carlos tried to take some of it, and Carlos took the center of the octagon a few times. Robbie would just go at him and get him out of there. So he had octagon control for a lot of the fight. And yeah, man, every time that, you know, Carlos hit Robbie was kind of like, okay, whatever, I felt it. Other than that first knockdown, other than the knockdown in the first round. But every time Lawler hit Condit, his head would fly, or he would feel in his body or something, you know? So Robbie kind of won it on heart and determination to break Condit. Couldn't do it, but wasn't able to break him and finish him. But it definitely was a super close fight. Really hard to call. Really hard to call, in my opinion. And a lot of people were getting super emotional about it. And on Twitter, Jeremiah saying Robbie did more damage. Octagon control. Robbie was moving forward the whole fight, and that's the way the judges. Exactly, I'm with you. I really think that's part of the reason. And that's a big reason why he won this fight. He got the decision over Condit. Again, if you look at the how many shots were landed and all that, definitely Condit won. Let's see, Jesse on the chat here saying, hell no, not a robbery. Close fight, very close, too close. He had a 48-47 Lawler after the third time he's seen the fight. He controlled the octagon and pushed pace. He almost never moved back in the fight. And that's and I agreed. Again, me and Jeremiah and Jesse on the same page. It was the octagon control, was the aggressiveness. It was walking forward, and it was a control of the octagon that won the fight. So a lot of people saying robbery. I don't think it was a robbery. I just think it was. I just really think, just from watching over and over again, that Condit had it. I thought Condit had it. So, you know, everyone has their opinions about this fight and all that, but you know, it doesn't matter now. Robbie Lawler is still the champ. So Condit saying in the back to Megan O'Leary that he might retire. Said it again in the post-fight press conference. He don't know if he's going to come back. You know, taking beatings like that takes a lot out of somebody, you know. And of course, it's disheartening, man. I mean, third time he's gotten a shot at the title. The first time was the interim title against Nick Diaz. He won that somehow. He won that. The second time against GSP, got taken down and grinded out. And then this time, you know, to lose just by a little bit, it's got to suck. It's got to hurt. So this might have been the last hurt Carlos Condit. I hope not. I don't think so. I think he's going to come back. He's too exciting, and I think he's got enough in him to put together a couple more fights and make him, you know, big money fights and you know, kind of pad his bank account and everything. But definitely, I don't know. Could you do a rematch? Yeah. Will they do a rematch? Questionable. Of course, Tyron Woodley was on and I didn't watch it. I heard about it on the FS1 post-fight show saying, no rematch, no rematch. Why? Because he's the guy that was told he was going to get a fight against the winner. We'll know in the next couple months, or next. I think we'll know in the next month whether or not it's going to happen. I want to see a rematch. I just do, you know. But you know, a lot of people hate rematches. I hate rematches when it's an ass whooping, right? Verdum and Cain Velasquez should not be happening. And I'm a Cain fan, and I don't want him. I thought that was a bad rematch. Holm Rousey, you could argue is because Rousey was a champ or the only champ at 135 until now, until Holm knocked her out. But I don't think we should be doing a rematch on that right away either. McGregor Aldo, I think you could warrant a rematch for the fact that he was champ for 10 years, but he did get finished in a nasty way. So who knows? But on this one, man, I think it's warranted. I think a rematch is warranted on this one, and I hope we get it. But if we don't, it is what it is. Jesse saying that last night watching it, he thought Condit won, and the second and third time he thought Lawler won. So again, you watch it, and as it's happening, you have a different opinion. And watching it afterwards, you're more objective. You're paying more attention, obviously, to what's going on. And it's it could change your opinion. It didn't change mine. Like I said, I watched the entire fight last night. I watched the entire fight again today. I rewatched that third round over and over again, just trying to get a feel for who won. And every time I thought Condit did just a tiny bit enough to get that third round. But again, Robbie, aggressive, octagon control, and never step backwards. That was just kind of it. So again, you want the strap, you got to take it. You got to take it from the guy. You got to finish him and take the strap. Holly Holm did it. RDA did it to Pettis. Verdun did it to Cain. Bunch of champs of fucking Rockhold on Weidman and so on and so forth. So McGregor on Aldo. So you want the strap, you got to take it. And you know, Robbie's going to be a tall order for anybody to finish. Anybody. It's going to be real hard to do. Mike Jarve saying, I watched it 3 times and had it for Condit. Me too. So this is going to, you know, it's going to be back and forth for, you know, until next weekend. Not this weekend coming up, but next weekend when we get Cruz Dillashaw, and it takes our minds off of this fight. But it's going to get broken down over and over and over and over and over again. Everyone's going to have different opinions. This is what it is. And it's part of the reason why we all love the fight game, let's be real. And then, oh, fuck, there was one more point I wanted to make. I completely slipped my mind. Oh, Robbie Lawler. Now, what's next for Robbie Lawler? Yeah, I hope a break of some sort. Maybe a break till UFC 200 if you want to do a rematch, or the Woodley fight on that card, you know, whatever. But Robbie Lawler, I heard is Matt Brown, one of his coaches. I think it's Matt Brown, if I'm not mistaken. Or Mark Brown. Fuck, what's his name? Find out real fast. But one of his teammates and corners was saying that Robbie Lawler is tired of being a tough fighter, of him being known as a tough fighter. Meaning he's tired of just going in there and having to put on just brawls, and not brawls, but wars, because he's taking all that damage. You know, Robbie wanted to say, said in the post-fight press conference that that he wants to finish guys, and he goes in there to try and finish the fight quick so he doesn't take any damage, but guys just won't stay down, and Condit just didn't stay down, and nobody's fought really has stayed down, you know, in a title fight. So it's you gotta start wondering how much more damage Robbie Lawler could take, or is willing to take. Right? He has any, you know, I'm not sure he has too many more of these you know, battles in him where he takes a ton of damage anymore. You know, he looked, you know, he was happy to win, but to me, that was a man who was just like, dude, I'm so tired of just having to go through all, you know, taking all this damage to win. You know, and you know, Woodley he's gonna take damage against Woodley if he fights him. He's gonna take damage if he fights Condit again. It's rough goes at 170 for everybody. But I wonder how much more damage Robbie Lawler's willing to take before he either calls it. Mike Brown, thanks, Mike. It's Mike Brown as his teammate. But I'm wondering how many more fights Lawler has in him left before he decides this shit's just not worth it anymore. And, you know, I got enough money and I'm gonna leave. So, you know, it's weird. It really is weird. And then people, you know, saying, oh, it's great that he's in there. Yeah, it's great that he's in there and everything, fighting like that, but he's gonna take a lot of damage. And, you know, the fighter has to think about their health and their family first. So I wonder what he's gonna do with that. Jesse saying Condit was too afraid to step in after the third, and we became way too conservative. I think after that second round knockdown, dude, I think that's exactly. I think the game plan went back to stay in range, or stay out of the pocket, stay in range of, you know, be able to kick him and use your length on him, or your reach. Who beats Lawler after this performance, man? I say Lawler versus McDonald, and he makes people fight his type of fight. He drags him by force, and when they jump on him and try to finish, he just gets better. Yeah. Lawler's great at absorbing punishment. While that's great for fight fans to say and understand about the one of the favorite fighters, it sucks for a fighter to be known as a guy that can absorb punishment. You know, I really think it does suck. Condit's never been knocked out ever, right? This was the closest I've seen him being knocked out. Yeah, I don't think he's ever been knocked out. Let me make sure here, but yeah, it was close. It was in the 5th round. He was zombieing out. Both of them were. They were both really tired. But Condit, Robbie got hurt Condit in the 5th round for sure. And Condit, it was so bad that Condit was trying to step away and you know, make some room between them, and he was rolling off the cage. If you guys saw that, that was just a trip, man. Condit's been knocked out once, looks like here, but I don't think it was in the UFC. No. He wasn't knocked out. It was that leg kick, that knee injury. So to me, it doesn't count. The knee injury was where the TKO fight against Tyron Woodley. Anyway, so you know, you got to wonder how much more Robbie Lawler has. Carlos Condit, again, another guy that's, you know, absorbs punishment. Already thinking about Condit quits. Is it worth it to him to get beat up as much as he's been? You know, so Jeremiah saying Wonder Boy's the next champ. I don't know. Wonder Boy, if I'm not mistaken, has a pretty nice fight in front of him. And he's like 30-some years old. They should be calling Wonder Man. All right, for real. They should be calling Stephen Thompson Wonder Man. Yeah, he's not a boy anymore. He's 30. Never mind. 32 years old still. Wonder young adult. How's that? Let's do that. But anyway, Wonder Boy has Johnny Hendricks next, former champ. That's going to be a tough fight for both guys. But Thompson especially, because that fight's going to go to the ground for sure. Mind you, if Hendricks shows up in weight. Of course, that's always a question with him. Jesse says, but if you look, he's good at avoiding taking shots, and he fires back to stop the advance of Lawler. Oh, because Lawler's good at avoiding big shots, and he fires back. Definitely. But again, how many more shots can he take? It's just, he's got to think about that. And you know, we don't really care. Really, we don't. Cowboy for who? For Condit? Or for because they're friends or team, that's not going to happen. But Cowboy at 170 may make a good run. Cowboy has Tim Means. That's a motherfucker for a fight. If he gets past Tim Means, you know, who knows? Mike Jars with a tweet of the morning. Ooh, that's a good point. He has he put a picture. It's Holly Holm with the strap. This is Greg Jackson's fighters. Holly Holm with the strap, and then right next to her is Cowboy Cerrone with an X. So basically, he lost. Condit in the middle says robbed, and then Jones no strap, and Michelle Watterson no strap. Michelle Watterson, seconds after the fight was over, or after the decision, tweeted out bullshit. And you never hear Michelle Watterson cuss. And mind you, it is her teammate and all that, but still, a lot of people super upset about the decision. And I guess rightly so. It was just super close. As far as Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-fight win streak. Cote, Whitaker, Ellenberger. If he beats Johnny Hendricks, I think he's a fight or two away from a title shot. So it's possible. Robbed. So Mike Jars tweeted out robbed with R-O-B capitalized, as in Robbie Lawler, and B-E-D. So that's clever, my friend. So yeah, I mean, you got to wonder how much more damage either one of these guys can take. I don't think Condit retires. I think Condit's gonna, he's gonna, go back to the training and all that, go back to life and be motivated again to train and to fight. I think he's gonna come back. Robbie obviously is gonna come back. That guy, as long as you're the champ, unless you're a champ forever, you probably not gonna retire while you're the champ. Carlos Condit, 31 years old. He comes back. I think he comes back. What am I seeing him against? We saw a Nick Diaz fight again. That'd be kind of legit, to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But it's fresh wounds right now, so who knows? If Hendricks wins, he gets a what? If Hendricks wins, he gets a shot. So Wonderful needs to be rewarded the same. Hendricks, by the way, fuck Hendricks. Fucking Jesse. If Hendricks wins, he gets a shot. Someone said that already? Or did Hendricks say that? Because Hendricks is kind of crazy. Hendricks is not, in my opinion, no, I'm not going to say that. Hendricks is a little crazy. I'll just say that much. He makes shit up in his head. Let's say that much. Hendricks is, he says a lot of shit. He's not, he tweeted Robbie Lawler saying, oh, I see you, but I'm still coming. And I'm sitting here going, you're fighting the scale right now, bro. Chill. Diaz Duffy will be a sick matchup, says Mike Jars. Nate Diaz. I'm assuming you're saying Nate Diaz, and that would be legit. Except Poirier will take his ass down, and all it's going to do is make Nate Diaz pissed off. But Nate Diaz is legit, so I wonder. I wouldn't mind seeing that. If they make that fight, I'm cool with it. But Nate Diaz said it before. He's looking for big names, and probably not going to get the McGregor fight. Let's be honest, he's probably not going to get the McGregor fight. If he does, I'll be happy because that's going to be an entertaining ass build up to a fight for sure. And Nate Diaz Poirier or Duffy, sorry, Nate Diaz Duffy, all striking matchup. That'd be legit. Jeremiah says gotta throw Maya in the mix at 170. You do, but with Woodley supposedly told you the title shot and all that. I don't know. Although you could make Woodley Maya and say fuck it, see what happens. And if you make the rematch and say okay, for sure this time though, whoever wins is the title shot. So we'll see. All right. Looking ahead here. Obviously not this weekend, but January 17th is a Sunday. We got, of course, DT Dillashaw against Dominic Cruz. And Anthony Pettis against Eddie Alvarez. Travis Brown against Matt Mitrione. And Ross Pearson against Francisco Trinaldo in the main card. This is all on Fox Sports 1, by the way, on a Sunday. So, I don't think there's any football that weekend either, as far as I remember. And then Patrick Cote against Ben Saunders. Marbek Tyson against Chris Wade. Maximo Blanco against to be determined. Someone got hurt. Actually, no, that wasn't. Oh, someone just pulled out that I didn't hear about it. That's fucked up. And Paul Felder against Darren Cruikshank should be legit. And of course, the Fight Pass prelims has 5 fights actually on it. Latifi, Charles Rosa's on there. Tim Bosch's on that card against Ed Herman. Rob Font and Francis Barbarosa's on that on the prelims. But you know, Cruz De La Shaw is going to be the fight to watch. You know, because I think Travis Brown should knock out Matt Mitrione unless Edmund really fucked his game up. And then Eddie Alvarez against Anthony Pettis is going to be a legit fight. Jesse saying Travis, hold up. Jesse saying Travis getting that ass beat and maybe now he gets cut. Fuck Travis Brown. Come on, man. I mean, hating on Travis Brown. Travis Brown was legit before he messed up and went to the wrong camp. Anyway, all right, that's gonna do it for this show. So I hope you enjoyed 195. I definitely did. Great card from top to bottom. And of course, enough controversy to have everybody talking for a long time. This whole week, next week as well, up leading up until to UFC or UFC Boston. I guess they're gonna call it that. I don't know. Anyway, that's January 17th. Oh, by the way, your East Coast is gonna be pissed because the main card starts at 10. So have fun going to work on Monday. Anyway, if you work early anyway. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to go prepare Breaking the Law with Eddie Law. If you guys are into all sports, it's a radio show on Spreaker. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Definitely hit me out or jump on and I'll be talking about, I'm basically going to be previewing. Oh, Jesse takes his troll hat off. Oh, he's just fucking around about Travis. This guy, you got to be doing that shit on Twitter. You can't be doing that on whoa, Mike Doe, fuck. Joe Duffy's eye is fucked up. I'm retweeting it. Retweeting that shit right now. Yeah, Joe Duffy's eye is fucked up. It's like swollen shut. It's like someone took it on Photoshop, made his eye bigger, and just put a little like doll blink thing. It's weird, but ew, that sucks. Goddamn. Anyway, all right. Catch you guys in a couple hours here. Breaking the Law with Eddie Law goes live 2 hours. 2 hours from now. 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then tonight, instead of the highlight, myself and Jesse Rubalcaba, I'll tweet out all the information on that shit too. And if you guys are Spanish speakers, you might want to jump on and hang out. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button somewhere down here. Definitely follow me at Elaw31. The page is at Crossroads MMA. And catch you guys in a couple hours. See ya.